it, let's get carving. All right. Oh, wow. Hey, what's up everybody? Ryan Cook with Ryan Cook Carves, and this week I am adding to the bear repertoire. I've been asked by a bunch of you guys on how to carve a bear head. So I'm doing a 4-foot bear in a log, and I'm going to be carving a welcome bear holding a welcome sign, and it is a beautiful chunk of cedar. So it's got a really cool like heart to it. So I'm definitely gonna play to that change of color. I think that's great. It's gonna be a very similar face to this. So, you know, we'll talk about the block out here and how I like to transition, you know, from the different lines from neck to chest, and then also like shaping the mouth out and how we go about doing that. So I'm gonna put on the headphone strap thing here, and let's get to it. So hopefully there'll be enough steps to kind of put it in writing, but you know, first things first, I look at the log. I see it's really nice cedar, you know? And there's a small check here, which isn't gonna make much of a difference. There's a little ring crack here, but that's gonna be the top of the head. So just that you want if there's gonna be a check, you want it to be at the back of the head or near the ears where it's easier to fix. And then, okay, you go for size and scale, right? So I know right away I have a base here, and then you gotta factor in your head. This is a bit wide of a log. You know, this is just what I had at the shop. It's a little bit wider than what I would actually prefer to use. I would probably think to use like a, you know, maybe a 18 to 22 inch log. When I'm doing these types of quick carved bears, these are not anatomically structured bears like this. You know, if I was doing a bear like that, we will do that. There is some good bears coming up. I've got a big bear in October that is going to be 6 feet tall and like life size, walking on an angle, and that is going to be a really fun one. Very close to anatomically correct. But in this one, like when you're doing these bear heads, I like think of a heart. And this is my style. There's so many different styles. I have to always say that. But if you look here, there's a heart, right? And to me, I find you're making him happy. A heart is love. Love is something that emotes like a happy feeling to people. And I actually believe that there is something subliminal there that makes people fall in love with these bears. So, because people love love, right? I love love. So pitter patter, let's get at her. My first step, I'm gonna get my CS 620 with a 22 inch Canon super bar, and I'm gonna block it on a triangle, but I'm gonna put the head thing on and you guys can watch the cuts. It'll be sped up and I'll talk through it, and I'm just gonna talk through these. I'm not gonna go step by step. So let's just do it. Let's go. 4 minutes in and all this talking. Yeah, I talk too much. But thank you for liking my videos. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're still here watching this, fuck it, let's get carving. All right.
So my first cut, I start working on the triangle of the bear head. I always use the snout to be the triangle. So right now I take a big slab and then I kind of flare it out at the bottom. That I find to work really well because you want to make sure you leave rooms for the arms. Do the same thing for the back because I'm thinking about where I'm going to put the ear placement. I always kind of leave it a little bit to the back end. Now I cut off the sapwood and cut it right there because that's where I know the mouth couldn't go any further. Now I'm notching in where the ears are going to go. So by doing that, now I have the structure, and now I go to put in the forehead because it's a happy characteristic bear, so I can just make it simple. Couple straight lines down. I like to flare it out slightly. Then I'm tapering back to where the cheek is. And keep in mind, I'm still using a big saw. If you're not super comfortable with that kind of saw, switch to a carving bar at this point. Then now I'm gonna lay back the ears make them thin enough to where I'm able to start notching in back of the cranium. Keep in mind you are blocking at this point. You're not shaping and rounding. Right now, we're going to just try to get this all done. Now, as I was talking about the heart, look how I taper that down to where the bottom of the mouth is, because you can then go down the center, and once you have that done, there's your line from your cheekbone to your head, and now you're making enough space for the neck.
So that's blocking out with just the big sod. Now I'm switching to a 501P with a 14-inch dime tip cannon bar, quarter pitch chain. And just upon looking at your block out, it's good to take a step back and look at things, see how it is. You know, this log's really cool because there's this and there's that. So be able to kind of blend these colors. And then I step back and I look at the body. Yes, this is a bear head video, but at the same time, I have to factor in that this is going to be holding a sign up, and the log is a little shorter. So I'm going to have to shorten this head to make the body fit it. So I'm going to take a little off here, take a little off there. This will all stay the same. And then we're going to just round it out. This little cut here will turn into the nose as it tapers down. I'm going to suck this in. What I like to do is just imagine that this is where the cheekbone is. And then I'll taper it down, and then we'll flop out the mouth and give him a big happy, shit-eating grin. So yeah, but you can see right away, there's the idea of a heart, right? I cut it from this part at this line right here, and that's where my neck and head's gonna be. I'm gonna bring this up a bit, and then once I bring it up, I'm gonna make that cheek end there, and then have the mouth come down. So, it's got enough of a back here. That'll be where the back of the hump is, the shoulders, his arms. When you're doing these bear analogs, they're not perfect, right? Or not bear analog, sorry, a bear holding welcome sign. You have to make sure there's enough space for the welcome sign, and that is not something that always, I got candy in my teeth. That's something that not always makes proportions right, because it's not right. There's no bear holding a sign like this, but you have to make sure there's a big enough sign to fit it. So now we move into the next phase, and it's just going to be getting this head done.
So I switched to the Echo 501P with 14-inch Canon dime tip bar, quarter pitch chain, and you can see I'm thinning down the head. Like I said, it was too big. But now I gotta go, okay, it's time to put in shoulders and a straight line down the forehead, which kind of creates that heart, like I've been talking about. Now I taper back everything, and as I'm doing that, I'm starting to round out this sculpture. I think the bear head needs to be as round as possible. Now I'm shaping in the cheeks. I like to push them back, but also making sure that the forehead line kind of travels all the way back to where the ears are. When you're doing bears, no matter what they are, I like to have different planes. Now I am able to start shaping in the mouth. Now mouths are tricky and I still struggle with them, but I do a little diagonal curve, and then you can see that's where I connect the cheekbones to the bottom of the mouth, and then I start to taper out and cut out that part that I'm not going to need. So now it's time to make a happy big smiley face bear. Now I cut a wedge just like that, flat across, and then I start working underneath the cheeks. I pull away all that meat, and then I'm able to kind of make the mouth taper down. So now that I've got that kind of moving along, I start to thin down the bottom of the mouth, because really you got to think about it. Bears' mouths close, and when the jaw is open, it's still got to be proportionately correct to, if it was to be open in real life, just like any person, any jaw. But I'm still tapering back all that meat and just taking my time. This is whittling 101. I'm going back and forth, and then now I'm able to just take the saw and run it up the mouth. But now you can see I need to kind of understand the body proportions. So I had to take my big saw and size this bear down just so I could make it work. So this is why I'm doing this, just so my proportions are correct. And to be honest, I had this edited already and I liked how it ended with the little beep boop bop at the end. But now, working in the mouth, I like to push the saw to the very end. And once I get that saw done, then it's just the final details.
So now I'm on to the final details of this. I punched in the mouth, and I like to kind of give it a little bit of just the bar, because you can use the bar to kind of create that drop in the lips and mouth into the jowl, and then dragging my saw down here and then I'll punch in eyeballs with an eyeball bit. So now I'll just like part the fur, and as I'm parting the fur or carving the fur, I just pull it and I start back and I go deeper, and then it's just coming forward. So you're kind of creating the idea of that heart, and then really buff out the nose, punch in the eyes, scoop out the ears. And once you're done scooping out the ears, I'm just going to carve out the final touches and then burn it, sand it, and hopefully that's how we're going to do the head.
So final furring, I am just kind of going over the saw, imagining where the fur would fall on his face, and just doing light cuts because it doesn't need to be crazy deep. And once I get that done, use the Iowata airbrush and burn and sand.
So I'm going to finish this off with some brown and kind of darken this a bit, just so it's just a little darker, and then I'll do a little black. I like to give it like a little like thing. I don't know why. I just like this, you know. It doesn't have that, but it just looks cool. You know, you're accenting, you're just highlighting, creating a little bit of contrast between things. That's it. So I hope you guys have learned some stuff. I've just got one more thing to do, and that's the glimmer in the eye. The glimmer in the eye is actually kind of weird how it's worked out, but I have a old white opaque paint that has kind of dried and crusted that works awesome. So I hope this has helped out. This is how I carve bear heads. For a quick carve, happy, characteristic style of bear. You know, I hope there was some great tips and you guys picked some stuff up watching it. I really think that these are fast, they're effective. You can make them your own too. Don't be scared to try different things. If you want to make a bigger forehead and make bigger eyes and make them cartoony, or you want to make the mouth closed, or like give it a cocky turn, or don't just follow me, but hopefully like something that I've talked about has resonated with you, and you can take it and make it your own, because really we're all making our own way. We're all having fun doing this, and you know, I find things that work, and then I see other guys that I look at a piece or I look at a picture, I watch something on Instagram and I'm like, oh, whoa, and something clicks where you want to try it. So, you know, in doing these, I hope this has helped out, especially for beginners. And, you know, that's it. So if you like this and it helped, give it a like, leave me a comment if you have any questions or suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe, because I'm climbing up this YouTube thing, and you know, a lot of great things coming out soon. It is once the summer's over, we're gonna get back to talks with the masters. We're going to be doing them pretty much every couple weeks. It's not done yet. Been getting lots of messages. It's just the summers are really busy for me. I want to be with my family. It's the first summer I've ever not been on the road. And next year, when COVID's done, holy shit, I'm gonna be all over the province. Lots of cool different places to explore, and I'll show you guys where I go and the people that we meet, and film it and document it, and you know, it won't just be the shop. But thanks for watching. I hope this helped you guys. I know I talk a lot, but you know, whatever. If you're still here, you're here. Thanks guys, peace. You.